What is a venta in Spain, and is it better than a service station? A venta is a historic roadside inn offering authentic rustic home cooking at local prices. Forget the sterile motorway service stations and look for the crowded gravel parking lot to find the best menú del día and a true taste of Spain. Now, as you're traveling around Spain, you will notice on the side of the roads these things that are called ventas, V-E-N-T-A, and it's then followed by a name. It will say Venta, Tres Hermanos, Venta El Polígono, Venta, and one of the most famous ventas when you go towards Albacete is called Venta El Molino, the windmill. Everybody stops at Venta El Molino as they're traveling up towards Madrid from where I am in Alicante or Murcia. So it's a roadside cafe, and my dad told me when I was a kid that the equivalent word would be greasy spoon in English. And it's going to be very, very crowded because everybody stops there, but it's going to be home-cooked, better food. It's a shame because anybody of my age or older looks out for ventas when they're traveling across Spain. And I'm sure the next generation, like my children, will look out for golden arches and things like that instead, which offer you absolute rubbish food at far more expensive than what you're going to pay at a venta. So even though the word venta means quite a few things in Spain, it means sale because you see it on firewood places. It says venta de leña. But a venta, as I say, on the side of a motorway is like a trucker stop. It's not somewhere you take your wife for Valentine's Day, but it is somewhere that you know you're going to have a really decent meal and some cracking food. And especially when you get, if anybody's been to a venta, I've traveled, especially, as I said, like when you go up towards Albacete, you'll see that as soon as you go through the door, on your left-hand side, you will see a huge display case. And the traditional thing to buy when you stop at a venta for your grandkids is a flick knife. Yes, a flick knife. You will see that throughout all of these ventas, there are huge display cases with flick knives that are the size of two clowns' feet. They're massive. You know, that's a knife. That's not a knife. This is a knife. You know, proper knives. And I remember the first, we had some neighbors where we used to live in Torrevieja that were from Albacete. And I remember one of the first times they came down, I was about 5 maybe. They came out and they said, you know, tenemos un regalo para James. We've got a present for James. And I remember at the fence them handing me this butterfly knife, this knife that opened, it was folded closed and you opened it and it had a really long sharp blade. And I remember them giving me that and me walking back into the house and going, oh, wow. And my parents coming in 2 minutes later, taking it off me, and I never saw it again. That was the first and last time. So the tradition, though, is to buy, you know, you go to Blackpool in England, and I've been told you give a stick of long candy called a stick of rock. You know, I would much rather have had a flick knife than a stick of rock when I was 5, as I was given. So you see, as we go to Albacete or Toledo, because the best stainless steel in the world is made in Toledo. So as you get to Toledo, the traditional thing is to buy a knife or a sword. Loads of replicas for shows like Game of Thrones and films like Conan the Barbarian were made in Toledo because they've always made the best stainless steel in the world. I was told there was another place that used to make stainless steel in the UK called Sheffield. Sheffield used to make butter knives, whereas Toledo would make the swords. I know it's Sheffield, okay? I'm extracting the urine. So, as I say, if you have not been to a venta and had a meal, I definitely recommend Venta El Molino. It's a place that everybody has to stop at. And there are various other ventas that are well known throughout Spain. And have a look for the massive knives that you would buy as a gift for your grandson and really annoy his mother for the rest of their life.